Auto Group special live stream and press conference featuring President and CEO Aaron Zeigler, broadcasting live from Zeigler Motorsports in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
All right, welcome everybody. We appreciate everybody here. On behalf of the Zeigler Auto Group, I'd like to welcome you here to Zeigler Motorsports here in Kalamazoo, Michigan. We'd like to acknowledge the many members of press we have here, as well as members of Team Zeigler, and also our live stream audience through the Driving Vision podcast. Also, would like to let people here in the room know, not on the live stream, that there is food over that way. So once we're done in between interviews, you're welcome to join us in grabbing some food. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce and turn the time over to the president and CEO of the Zeigler Auto Group, Mr. Aaron Zeigler.
Thanks, Sam. Well, 2023 has been an exciting year for the Zeigler Auto Group. It's been another year of growth for our organization. We added 6 new franchises. We went into 3 new markets this year: Holland, Michigan, Fort Wayne, and Lafayette. We now have 41 locations and 85 franchises across the Midwest. And Zeigler Motorsports, where we're at here today, has become the largest motorsports dealership in the United States. But today is another big day in the history of our organization. We've been involved in NASCAR for the last 4 years. And this year, we were looking for a team and a driver that has the same burning desire to win that we do as an organization. So in 2024, we're going to be one of the primary sponsors for the number 77 Spire team. Like us, Spire has dramatically grown in the last few years as an organization. They put themselves in a position to win and to win big. To kick it off, we're going to be the co-primary sponsor at the Daytona 500 this year for the first time ever. We're also going to be the primary sponsor at Michigan, Chicago, Indianapolis, Talladega, Charlotte, North Carolina, Nashville, Madison, and Miami. And to top it all off, we've signed the hottest young driver in NASCAR right now. I've been following him since he was a kid. He's only 20, so he's still kind of a kid. But he's won 15 national championships growing up. He's won 78 race wins. He's won 4 races in the NASCAR Truck Series, and he not only made the playoffs this year for the Truck Series, but he also raced for the Championship 4 at the end of the season. He's a terrific young man. His dad, Scott Hosevard, owns a business here in Kalamazoo, Scott Sports Card Coins and Jewelry. Coolest part about this whole thing is Carson graduated from Gull Lake High School, and he's from Kalamazoo. So we are so excited to have a local kid that's hit it big go racing with a local sponsor. So right now I'd like to announce that the Zeigler Auto Group is proud to be the primary sponsor for the number 77 Spire Motorsports car, driven by Kalamazoo's own Carson Hosevard. Chris, come on up.
Man, I think it looks good, huh? No, just appreciative of everything Aaron's done, Spire. I remember doing these interviews with a handful of you guys growing up when I was racing quarter midgets, or when my parents would have their store. People would come in all the time and recognize me as the little kid in their commercials, which was at the time I thought I was like, man, I'm the little local celebrity. I was like, this is awesome when I was about 5, but just it's crazy to think about now that it's turned into something like this. And we'll go around town and see how many people really love and appreciate not only the sport that I get to race and compete in, but also have such ties to home and be able to come home and do work and family at the same time, and have a lot of ties to Michigan, which is as cool as it could be. And I'm really happy and thankful that I get to promote NASCAR in this little town of Kalamazoo.
So we're going to bring Carson back up here in just a moment, but we're actually super thrilled to have the company that owns the number 77, Spire Motorsports, here with us as well. So I'd like to introduce the Executive Vice President and General Counsel for Spire Motorsports, Bill Anthony, and turn some time over to Bill for a few words. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here. I want to thank Aaron and Carson for having us here. This, as an anchorman, as a famous fake anchorman said, this escalated quickly, right? So Carson came onto the scene. We had the fortunate opportunity of giving him in one of our cars in St. Louis. It was immediately apparent that he was going to be a superstar. His attention to detail, his passion in the sport is unrivaled. I think that we're all going to be surprised with what he does this year. There's a lot of pressure on our team to make sure that we can put him in the best position to win. We accept that pressure. We're on a great journey. You may have seen in the news, there's been a lot of things that have been happening with our team. We've expanded to include a third Cup Series team. We've also moved into a brand new race shop. To say that we are optimistic and thrilled would be an understatement. Combining this program, I'd like to say that we had the wherewithal and the ability to think this ahead and plan this through, but you can't really plan this any better in terms of supporting a local market, having these two great figures come together, this great company. One of the passions and one of the missions of our company is respect, and there's two elements of respect. There's both earning respect, which we spent the last 3 years trying to do in a very competitive racing market, but there's also showing respect. We have a great, healthy respect for what Aaron and the entire Zeigler company has accomplished. We also go by the mantra of brick by brick. He's obviously had some pretty beautiful bricks, and he continues to put together a really great company, and we really believe in this program and believe that this is kind of a fate and fortunate situation. So we are on a great journey. We're looking forward to next year, the competitive output, and proving all of the people right. We're done proving them wrong, and we're now going to prove them right. And this is a journey, and it's not just about where you go in the journey, it's about who you go on that journey with, and we're very proud and honored to have both Carson and the Zeigler family with us on that journey. Thank you very much, and appreciate your time.
Can you bring me up on this one? So members of Team Zeigler are going to change this stage quickly, and we're going to do a quick roundtable Q&A both for our live stream audience and for you members of the press as well. And then we'll open it up to general questions, and then there are time slotted after this for individual Q&A. So thank you again for being here at Zeigler Motorsports for this special announcement. So Carson, why don't you come on the stage, Bill? And also we'll bring Aaron Zeigler back up. I will stand off the stage because Carson, even though you and I are the same height, it seems a little excessive. So let's start off with a question for you, Carson. What does it mean to you to come home to Kalamazoo for this event? Oh, here, I'll give you this one. Sorry, we were supposed to grab your mic.
No worries. No, it means a lot. I've drove past just this building alone, growing up all the time. When we would race late models, I would, they couldn't put a stacker trailer in my neighborhood, so they would have to pick me up somewhere. This mid-link building right next to us had a huge parking lot, so I would always get picked up. I got picked up here 2-3 weeks ago even. So I've seen, and I've had my best friends have came and bought dirt bikes even here, and so there's so many ties alone, let alone, it's really cool for me to even have Bill come in and, I get to show him all these roads and streets and little, root beer stands and little restaurants that were my favorite growing up here. And just knowing these roads like the back of my hand. I need the GPS in North Carolina just to get to my house or my apartment, wherever I need. But, this is the only place in the country where I don't need a GPS.
So before we come as you think about the upcoming season, your first race is?
Daytona 500.
Daytona 500. What hopes do you have for Daytona? You know, Bill talks about respect. I don't think there's any doubt that this is an incredible car. Team Spire has shown complete respect for you. What are your expectations for Daytona?
Well, my number one, for sure, I know that it's going to be the brightest car on the racetrack, so it'll be easy to tell. But more than anything, we just have the equal opportunity to have a shot, right? Daytona 500 always seems to have an oddball winner, right? And it always has a great story. And we have a great one that we're already writing, so hopefully we get to, put that in the chapter. But if not, it's just how you start your season. There's a lot of momentum that you can build off Daytona, and that's our goal, is just to see all 500 miles, and at the end of it, have it looking as pretty as it does right now.
So, Aaron Zeigler, you have sponsored other NASCAR race car drivers in the past. You made an intentional choice with Carson, maybe in part because of his local flavor. What does it mean to you to be able to sponsor a local driver here?
Well, it's certainly a benefit to have a local driver and somebody that knows us and our organization. And I've known Carson's dad for a long time, but also Carson's a winner, and he's and even more important than what he does on the track, he's just such a wonderful human being off the track. The way that he interacts with his fans and with the kids and stuff is just, it's awesome. He's just a great Midwestern guy. And somebody that we wanted to have our brand represented by. And I think Carson shares the same team values that we have as an organization.
So, Aaron, you built an enormous track behind Zeigler Motorsports when you built this facility. We shared that with Carson earlier today. Carson, are you able to ride the track? And if so, what would you ride? Bill? Bill may have a comment on that, yes?
I'm allowed four wheels and a roll cage, but there's a lot of toys here that got that, so hopefully I could pressure Aaron, or if we win a race, I'm sure we'll end up on the track some way or another.
Once Bill's
the
gone,
ink's
we'll
not
sneak
even
out the
dry,
back door.
so let's just, before we...
So, Bill, as general counsel for Spire, would you come when he wins Talladega, or when he wins the first race, Daytona 500, would you come out and ride the track with Carson?
I will not be acting like a lawyer when we get in victory
very
lane.
good.
Let's just
Very
put it
good.
that way. It'll be all out.
So, Bill, there's been exciting news from Spire. You alluded to a little bit of that moments ago. Tell us a little bit about your plans for Spire, the investment in Spire as a company, and why is Carson set to win now with his natural talent more than ever before?
The timing with Carson is pretty perfect, right? So we've spent the last 3 years building incrementally. This sport is extremely difficult, and you got to make sure that you're doing it in a very strategic and a very planned way, right? So we started with one car and one team, and you have to make sure that you're able to satisfy the basic obligations of a race team, right? Make sure that you're showing up every week and getting the most out of the car. You then work on improving your performance over time. We expanded to a second car. Then it was a challenge of getting that second car up to the same qualities of the first car. Then it was focusing on the drivers. It was focusing on our people. It was focusing on the location where we are. So at the end of this last year, we've taken a big jump. And I think it's gotten us a lot of attention, and I think that we're going to have a lot of things to prove. We've moved into a shop that's 3 times the size of our original shop, which is a newer location. Our employees are super excited about that. We've doubled our staff. We were, just to give you an idea, so we had about 40 employees at the Cup level, which was for both of those cars. We were competing against another 2-car operation that had 125 employees, right? So it was about the efficiencies and what you were able to utilize in terms of data and information and apply all of that. And so we've tried to backfill that, become deeper, in both from a personnel perspective and from an equipment perspective. We're very fortunate to have partners that are believing in us, and that's why we're wanting to make sure that we prove, again, them correct in this decision. And Carson, at this time, is the exact, in terms of his age, his ability, where he is in the ecosystem, is a perfect fit for us, because we are now in a better position where we can exercise on the data and engineering and information that we have. And he's the type of mind that is obsessed with racing. He's obsessed with simulation. He is always wanting to learn, and he's absorbing it all. And this is going to be an amazing time for him, and we're just glad that we're going to give him that platform.
So incredible when you think about the resources that are available. So, Carson, Aaron talks about your desire to win, your commitment to win. That mirrors our commitment at the Zeigler Auto Group. Talk to us about, I was at Homestead when you drove the truck and you came in number 1. What does it feel like to win in that moment? It was electric on pit road. And what's the difference between driving a truck and this car behind us?
Honestly, the truck and cup car, they don't look, or they look very, very different, but they handle pretty similar in the sense, if you use a little bit of grain of salt and you think of, if you look at the truck, the thing's very skewed, where if you took that, you ripped it off, you put it underneath, that's kind of like a diffuser. So you're just limited on what areas, but the amount of downforce you get is pretty similar with power ratio, which kind of fits my style, obviously, which kind of helps. But Homestead was a very, very fun one. We had to come from a piece of grill tape that was overheating, got that off, and then had to battle our way back up from a bad pit stop. So in a very short amount of time, we had a lot of adversity, all to win the race and win it by 18 seconds, I think it was. So really fun. I mean, I worked very, very hard on that racetrack alone, just on running the fence, and we spent hours just in our Chevy sim, actually, with Josh Wise, not even working on setups, just working on my driving, and learn how to run the fence, and it all translated super well. So I was really happy to turn around those efforts right away and put them to good use. So and then winning that one was probably the most different I felt, because I won and I was so excited to win, obviously, but my mind was already so set for Phoenix in that moment, that it felt like it was unfinished yet. Obviously we were close, but didn't quite get it. But just to win anything, you never know when it's your last, and you sure don't want it far in between. So you're just ready for the next one anytime you get it.
It was electric being there at Homestead. And as you came across that finish line, they announced Portage, Michigan as your home. Final question for me, and then we'll open it up to the press. What does that mean to you to hear Portage, Michigan, and eventually the Zeigler Auto Group as a sponsor announced as you come across the finish line? By the way, you said 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, that's an eternity in racing, is it not? That's not a photo finish.
No, it really is. Everybody says it doesn't matter an inch or a mile, right, of distance, but it 100% does, because those, you remember them. So if you didn't remember them, they wouldn't matter. So that part, but I don't think I really understood what saying Portage, Michigan really was until actually just after Thanksgiving. I came home and my mom surprised me with like a little autograph session at the store, and it was 4 hours long. I'm like, Mom, are you sure 4 hours? Like, that's like,
who will show up?
Yeah,
right?
I'm like, Mom, it's like, it was really quickly thrown together. I'm like, are you sure 4 hours? Like, I don't want it to be that long. And my mom texted me right before I got there, and she's like, hey, I need you to park in the grass. I'm like, why? And she's like, oh, just, you'll see when you get here. Just park way off in the grass and the next, like at next door. They'll let you park there. And I'm like, okay. And I walk in the back, and I can't see the parking lot. And the second I walk in, it was wrapped all the way around the store, and every parking spot was full, and they were turning people away. I'm like, man, this is, I went 4 hours without ever having a time to take a break or anything. So, Portage is alive and well, and there's a lot more race fans, and, people came from 3-4 hours, which I think says a lot, and, kind of clicked in that, man, mom probably is more right than I give her credit for one, but two, it really hit home that, there's that many people that were wanting to come to a little sports cards store on Westnedge and come see me.
So Bill, we bring home a couple P1s. You may have to move the home of NASCAR here to Kalamazoo, Michigan. Like, the Carolinas might not have anything on Kalamazoo with Carson.
Well, we might have some room here that we could put some cars and some equipment for sure.
Good. We'd like to open the question up if anyone has a question. Yes. Sorry. Go ahead, Andy.
Aaron, I wanted to ask, like you said, you've known Carson for a long time. When did you guys sort of start circling each other? Was this kind of contingent on him making this big leap for the Cup, or would you have maybe done the same thing if he was in Xfinity next year? How did this come together?
I see him on the news a lot. You guys have all been following his career, so I've been kind of become a fan of his and watching him. And you always want the hometown guy to do really well, and he's had so much success. And When we were at Michigan this summer, Carson and I got together at the race and spent a little bit of time, and that was the first time I really got to know him as a person. And that's what was really important to me, is his character and his values, and they matched what we have as an organization. And I said, this is the guy that I want representing us going forward. And then the same time, I got to know Jeff Dickerson, who's one of the co-owners of Spire, and he had told me back about that same time that he was going to sign Carson. So I knew he was going to sign Carson before Carson knew he was going to get signed. And we started talking with them as well, and just thought this would be the perfect fit between the three of us moving forward. And then everything just kind of fell into place. So we couldn't be more excited about next year and where we're going, and working with Spire and Carson.
Carson, same comfort level with Aaron?
Oh, absolutely. Just I would hear stories even from my dad about Aaron. They would his kid graduated the same around time as me from the same school, and I was always hear the stories of they'd run into each other, grabbing stuff for school or diapers or whatever the case may be around the same time. So the fact this was able to come full circle, and I get to be a part of his race program as well as he gets to be a part of my career. It's it could be a better fit, and of course with a team like Spire that is growing, just all three of us are growing at the same time and get to link together. And three tires are better than one, I guess, per se. You probably need a fourth in there too, but it's a perfect fit. Yeah, they were just happy I was home for Thanksgiving. But no, it worked out just fine. And I think the coolest compliment ever was the employee of 20 years was like, "Man, you had more people than we did for some of the Tigers back in the day." I'm like, "All right, that's pretty cool." So no, I'm super thankful, and I'm sure we'll have some of those autograph sessions here at other Zeigler locations too.
All right. Well, Carson, we appreciate you being here. Bill, Aaron Zeigler as well. We'll actually conclude this portion of the session and go into the individual meet and greets. So thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thanks.